Listen up, Raiders. Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve.
My name's Ernest.
Rodin! And so we're just going to talk about Godzilla.
Alright, before we get into this,
King of the Monsters, to be exact.
my favorite part of that movie is when King Ghidorah tells Mothra his last words were, "Spit in my mouth." And she delivers.
They get stuck to the side of the building. The one head's trying to get the other ones out.
Oh my god. That was probably the most funniest thing in this movie ever. Is Godzilla and King Ghidorah fighting, and just out of nowhere Mothra comes out and just spits in his face, and it was just like,
that was pretty good. My favorite sequence in the movie is still the Rodin chase scene, where he's chasing the giant bomber sky-based thing. I forget what it's called in the movie. But there's so much cool stuff that happens with that. Like, you chase after, like, alright, we might be able to maintain speed, and then Rodin just like, just flies up into the sky. And just, you realize that he is much faster than everybody else.
Amazing. Like, Rodin is probably the greatest thing about this movie.
Easily the best thing.
Is how they executed him, how they delivered him. Just everything about Rodin was amazing in this movie.
Also, we probably should have said that they're spoilers, just to reiterate.
We said we're going to talk about it. It is spoiler part. It's in the title. Spoiler. If you can't read, get out.
Get out of here now. And, yeah, like...
Alright, let's start now just from beginning. Where do you want to start at, Steve?
Alright, so I guess I want to start with a couple of things that kind of bugged me, the things that we were talking about before we really got into this.
So I'm going to let Steve have this shining moment. I'm going to chime in when he gets to the human part, because I think he's wrong on that one. But I do 99% agree with him on the oxygen destroyer. It shouldn't have been...
Yeah, that was the part where...
it should have been called something else.
The thing that annoyed me about it the most is because the oxygen destroyer is essentially the be-all, end-all weapon in the original 1954 movie. Also is the focal plot in Godzilla vs. Destroyer. It's pretty much tied into Godzilla lore pretty heavily, I would think.
Because it is in the first movie, and then later on, it's in other movies.
It's essentially, at both times, it's introduced as the way to possibly kill Godzilla, and in 54, that's what it does. It does it well. But in this movie, they just kind of... It's just another missile.
Which, I kind of get. In the 50s, when this movie was made, they were like, magic, superficial, thinking like, now at this time of the year, we're going to have flying cars and whatever. So, like, I kind of get the concept they went with. But right now, these days, they're like, look, we cannot make a missile that sucks oxygen out of things. It can't exist.
But then again, we are talking about giant monsters.
Yes, they kind of get it. But it was more down to earth with the missile. They should have not named it Oxygen Destroyer.
Yeah, it could have just been anything at that point. Like, why... I get that it's, like, fan service that it's called the Oxygen Destroyer, but to me, it's something I would have wanted them to spend more time with.
It should have been called, like... Should have been, like, dairy-free milk. It should have been, like, nuclear-free nuclear missile,
Nuke-free missile.
Yeah, because we know they feed on nuclear, but we need some kind of missile, so we're going to make a nuclear-free nuclear missile.
And then it didn't even melt the fish.
It just
That's all I wanted.
Just kind of killed the ecosystem.
Yeah. And it's just like it hurt Godzilla, but it didn't hurt King Ghidorah, which you now know is a space alien, so of course, like, blowing up the oxygen isn't gonna hurt the monster. But then it's just like, could they like at least like brought this up sooner that they were working on a missile? Like, it was just like
poor execution, definitely.
Bloop, bloop, TV screen. Hey, we got a missile coming in. It's called the Oxygen Destroyer. You might want to get out of there.
Good luck.
And then boom, just like.
Which at that part when that happened, I instantly knew that like King Ghidorah was an alien, which really pissed
once it flew out of the sky. Well, that and when it gets its head ripped off, I was like, wait a second, something seems off.
I know Godzilla has some amazing regeneration powers, but not grow my head back powers.
Well, the one thing I was thinking of when that happened was like, okay, so he's either an alien, something's happening, or the parts we saw in the trailer with him fighting the city, he's actually missing a head. Was the other thing.
Yeah. But then when he stood on top of the Rodin's house and kind of started growing back, I was like, oh, crap.
Yeah, the other head's like trying to pull it out. That part was sweet.
Let's talk about King Ghidorah.
Actually, no, so we're negative still.
Oh, negative still.
Still negative.
Well, that was the only negative for me.
Yeah, it was like, that was the big thing. Like, for the most part, like, most of the plot, the characters were serviceable.
Yeah.
Like, I like Dr. Serizawa, his whole arc, how he even sacrifices himself to rejuvenate Godzilla, because it would have took him too long to really had an impact in the fight.
See, my biggest thing is, Doctor shouldn't have died that way. He should have died, like, at least where the other woman died at in a battle where, like, Godzilla releases nuclear blast, you know?
Oh, I like the idea, especially since he was a big, like, Godzilla. Like, you know, watching the first one, like, he really liked him. And this was, like, his way of, like, kind of making Godzilla like us more.
Is it wrong of me to hope that a Godzilla would have, like, put him in his mouth and saved him at that point in time? Like, that was my hopes. But as soon as he took the mask off, I was like, no!
Maybe there's some hope he would have lived. Oh, that is a poor assistant. Just gets stomped on. It was like, that was abrupt.
I was like, they got you, bitch. They got you.
But for the most part, like, all the characters worked fine. Like, the one guy was kind of like a Mary Sue, in a way.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, he was good at everything and everything.
It was funny. He's like, anybody knows where this part is? I do. Anybody else? Anybody else, please.
He's like, come on, like, God bless it. And he, like, knows how that works the hammer, which they sort of explain it, but, like, I don't know. It was just like, it's very convenient, but it's a Godzilla movie.
Everything's
I'll let it pass, you know? Like, the only thing was with the villain's motivation, or his wife, was that she wanted to unleash the monsters. She let the daughter know. Dad didn't know a thing. But she wanted to unleash the monsters one at a time. So they started with King Ghidorah.
Monster Zero.
I guess, like, Mothra you consider, but, like, they went for the big one.
Which is the most stupidest plan
The one that
ever.
you know the least about, you went for the first.
Most stupidest plan ever.
And they're essentially using this thing, this box that is sort of like, it uses the monsters' wavelengths, or like they use, it's like the orca is what they call it, but it's like a lot of their, like, the sounds that they would make bounce back and forth. Essentially making them sound like the monsters to get the monsters to listen to them.
Yeah.
And to do things like that. It kind of reminds me a lot of, like, Godzilla vs. Monster Zero or Godzilla vs. Gigan, where they're using the cassettes to control the monsters.
Yeah. Concept the same, except it was just
done in a more... It makes more sense than a cassette.
Yeah. Done more in a 2020 ways.
Yeah. Like, Monster Zero worked fine because it was, like, wavelengths they were controlling with, so, like, I can get on board with it. But they find out that Monster Zero or King Ghidorah can control all the monsters normally because it's considered the alpha. So Godzilla has to take it out to become the new alpha. Which reminds me a lot of How to Train Your Dragon. Right?
Hey, I'm silenced because I'm not saying that he's wrong, but I don't want to agree with him to say that he's right.
Anyways, that actually just hit me. I was like, wait, isn't that the plot of How to Train Your Dragon 2? Anyways, moving on. But after this happens, she lets everybody know her plot and why she's doing this, right? And then shortly thereafter, like, oh, King Ghidorah's making all the monsters rampage. Oh, that's not quite what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get the monsters out one at a time so that it would be systematic in how the monsters would destroy everything, not all at once.
See,
so
this is where
then she sort of starts having a change of heart, and then her daughter kind of escalates that when she runs away, where it's like, oh, now I gotta go rescue my daughter.
See, this is where I disagree with Steve. I am okay with how they executed her in this movie. She knew what she was going for, and she stuck with it all the way to the end. The only reason why she deviated from the plan is because her daughter ran away. She said, I lost one kid, I'm not losing another one, I'm gonna go save my kid.
And this is why Thanos is the better villain.
Yeah.
Because it's literally the exact same plot she wanted of restoring balance, but Thanos was willing to sacrifice his adopted daughter in order to accomplish his goals.
Yeah, she wasn't.
And it was just like, wait, that was the part where I was just like, but this is still sort of your plan. Regretting the decisions, but still going along with it.
Still going along with it, though.
And then why is the daughter just allowed to run around? Especially after having all these spats with the other people. But they let her run around.
Like, that chick should have been on lockdown.
Yeah, that was another thing where I was just like, okay, they kind of got what was coming to them. So, when we started getting towards the end of the movie where, like, her and her dad were working together, and it made it almost seem like that they were, like, going to get back together as a family. I was like, wait, no.
Oh, they were not going to get back. Even, like, the guy said...
Well, that's kind of like, it's a horrible thing to say, but I'm glad she died. Because it was kind of like she redeemed herself a little bit at that point.
She didn't redeem herself. She just came along to use them as the help to find a daughter. She never, ever once in that movie stated that she gave two shits about her husband.
Yeah, that's the point too. Where like, why did she give up the plan? Why did she just let them kill her husband? And just move along.
Because the daughter.
I know the daughter would have been, but then she would have been like, "Mommy, no." And it seemed like her mom was very controlling, and that would have been like the perfect way to cap that off. I would have thought, but no, we had to add all these other elements to make the movie more. I guess trying to make it more emotional when it's already sort of a show movie to begin with. Like just run with it. Like I understood the twist, but if it would have happened later, I think I would have probably been more okay with it.
I am 100% fine with the execution of the humans. Like, I don't know what Steve was expecting, like I said, but I went in as a 1. I got like 2.5, 3 for humans. I was already overexcited for that. Humans were entertaining enough to keep me happy between the fight scenes.
Yeah, like I said, I thought it was fine. To me, like, I still think, like, 2014, and especially Kong do it better with the human characters.
Okay, Kong, humans...
Kong is... 2014... everything up to Bryan Cranston dying was great, but like the motivation was still clearly there. And even though I didn't really care for Ford, there's
no motivation with that douche.
He just wanted to get to his family and get there the fastest way possible, right? And to me, when I'm thinking about this movie when I was watching it, there wasn't a point where I was like, okay, sorry. There was like one point where I was like, okay, this is sort of dumb, but like moving the plot along, I was okay with it. It's more or less where the movie kind of becomes similar, but because we had that Bryan Cranston first third of the movie, is where I feel like it trumps this one.
No, you cannot trump an entire movie over one character that was in 1/3 of the movie.
Yeah, I said it's literally like 2/3 of the movie. I feel like it's the exact same as this movie, but that 1/3 is better than the 1/3 in this one. Feel me, dog?
I know what you're getting, but I'm not giving you that.
But anyways.
That's like me giving you my whole burger.
But that's pretty much it. Well, that and cinematography. I like the cinematography better in 2014. But
I like the cinematography in this one better. Just saying.
Good for you. I'm happy. Thought it was shown a little bit. Because in 2014, the monster fights are...
dark.
It is dark. This one, it's rainy. But the problem with 2014, it was dark. But it's more set up like a more traditional Godzilla movie where, like, you can see what's happening with the entire fight. While the fights in this one was more...
from a human point of view.
It was very Americanized. I think that's the best way I can say it. It's like Transformers, right?
Sorry, go ahead.
You okay?
I just puked a little on my shirt.
That's what it sounded like.
I just puked a little on my shirt. I'm sorry. You said it was like Transformers. It's like comparing, I'm
just saying the action sequences.
Pile of crap next to the pile of ice cream.
Sort of like Transformers. It's better, but...
And you're saying that they taste exactly the same. No. Crap and ice cream do not taste the same.
Have you ever had Great Value ice cream? Anyways, proving my point.
No, I don't buy peasant's food, but go ahead.
I like my peasant food. But yeah.
There's a reason why it's $1.90.
That's where I usually pick 2000. But like, King Kong, I feel like out of the 3 movies we got, has had the best human characters.
Yeah, like Samuel Jackson delivered on that. You knew what the human aspect was. This one was more
like everybody in that movie was perfectly fine. But this one was just like, it was serviceable, to say the least. The giant monsters, great. Like we already explained with Rodin. Love pretty much every sequence he in is really cool. The only thing is like when you get stung by Mothra, it reminded me a lot of when Godzilla bites the Muto.
the greatest thing that ever happened in that movie is when Mothra dies. Like I told you guys, I stood up.
It had to happen, right?
And I was like this, and the guy in front of me is like, "What the hell are you clapping about?" I was like, "The bitch died." And somebody, I'm not kidding, dude, in the back yells, "Aren't ass from Geek Chest?" I was like,
run!
I was like, "Oh my god, somebody knows me." I am not kidding, dude.
Oh man, I wish I was there now.
I stood up and I clapped, and the guy in front of me is like, "What the hell are you clapping about?" I was like, "She died." And the guy in the background was like, because my theater was full.
Mine was like 50%.
Mine was like 80.
It was less than when I went to see 2014.
And a guy was like, "Iron Ass from Geek Chest?" I was like, my son was laughing. I was like, eh.
That's great. The Ghidorah stuff. The only thing that I thought was funny, and this is where again we start getting into where these movies remind me a lot of the shows, is when Godzilla's winning the fight after being souped up from the nuclear missile, which is something very showy. Like Godzilla getting struck by lightning wakes him up, or certain things happen. Godzilla gets more powers, like in Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, where he gets the Force.
Which I am okay. I'm okay with like the whole concept of it being like Showa Godzilla. Is I like Showa better because all the goofy stuff.
Shows are definitely the more fun movies.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going into the movie because I want to like a proper movie experience, I will usually go with the Heisei /
Yeah.
the standalone Godzilla movies.
Yeah.
While if I just want to have a good time, you give me some Showa.
And that's what I went in for. This is a good old time.
But there's the part where Ghidorah bites the power plant, the electrical power plant, and then it just gets souped up and lightning bolts everywhere.
That was hilariously good.
That made me laugh. It was cool. I'm not saying it was a bad thing, but it's just like, again, it's not something like... It's not explained in the movie, like, how the hell do these monsters get these powers? It's just like, the powers happen and we run with it.
The one thing that really made me upset of the execution was when Godzilla goes burning Godzilla style, when he's releasing the energy. I am so upset that they did not turn into a beam form.
Yeah, it was like his nuclear pulse.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Which he could have just focused, like his tail started going like, drr, drr, drr. I was like, here comes a beam, here comes a beam, and it's a pulse. I'm like, oh, no, no.
Makes it way harder to make a custom when it's a giant orb.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I love this, no. I was like, it's doing a second time. I was like, okay, beam, beam, second pulse. I'm like, there is no beam, is there?
Also, like, I thought both the heads disintegrated and he ate and exploded the one. Where did the fourth head come from? Oh, you know what? Never mind, I figured it out. It's when he ripped off the head the first time.
No, that's what they... Yeah,
that's what they found.
At the... Okay, so...
I'm better. I was like, but how did they find the head was the one thing. I'm like, I'm running with it, but...
The end credit scene is fishermen found King Ghidorah's head. And our human replacements for the alien took it. They bought it. Because even like the fishermen saying, eco is destroyed, the oxygen destroyed the ecosystem, there's nothing for us to eat, there's nothing for us to fish, like everything is dying. It's just dying.
But we have this head.
He's like, but we have this head. And the humans are like, the bad guys are like, we'll take it. Which makes me think the next guy might be Mecha King Ghidorah.
I'm thinking, but that seems pushing it, right? From what we've seen. But then again, I thought Ghidorah being an alien was going to push it.
What could they make, though, from King Ghidorah's cells? What monsters could they make?
Nothing really. Like, I guess you would just, like, hope that it regenerates itself, and then you just have King Ghidorah again. Which already proved that without Godzilla becoming supercharged, he would have probably lost.
God, yeah. He would have lost for sure.
Which is where we may have, like, Godzilla Kong versus Ghidorah then.
Yeah.
But then again, they also stated that there is a clear winner in that movie, so, yeah.
Go, go, Godzilla.
The only thing that kind of confused me about the supercharged part is when Mothra dies, it essentially sacrifices itself, sort of like Fire Rodin and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, the Heisei film. So that's where like it seemed like Godzilla was getting supercharged, but then Ghidorah was like wrapping his neck around it and then biting into it, and then it was
eating it.
But it also looked like where it was like he was charging, so it was like where Ghidorah was biting down, it maybe could have just been like pressing up and exposing the heat. that he was building up.
That was one thing where I didn't know if King Ghidorah was eating his powers or if like Godzilla was just like wherever he bit it was kind of just like going into King Ghidorah. I was kind of confused on that part.
Yeah, it was weird to say the least. Again, it's not something that they explain very well because it's just like monsters get powers, run with it. But it was fine. And like I said, I kind of wish Mothra did more though.
Yeah, like Mothra was throughout the whole movie, but it was like in 30-second here, 1 minute here, 2 minutes here.
Yeah,
she's evolving.
Yeah.
1 minute here, she's evolved. Blank. Fight. 2 minutes, she dies. Like that was it. And then at the end credit scene, Mothra's alive. There's an egg.
There's an egg.
Which
also the monsters are restoring the ecosystem.
Which another thing is, does this mean since she was the queen of monsters,
right,
the next
Godzilla
Mothra is gonna have Godzilla tail?
It's just Godzilla moth wings, right? Moth wings and feelers.
Yeah, we're gonna set that thing out. It's just like it's Mothra body with Godzilla head.
Kill me.
But yes,
I kind of wish they would have shown more of how it's going to set up with Kong outside of just the news clippings of all the monsters making their way to Skull Island.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of nice. But it's sort of like Kong, where it was like, it would have been nice to tie in, like, see more of how the Ghidorah stuff was happening, but we just have a cave painting.
Yeah, so we'll see. It could be good, it could be bad.
Yeah, music was great. We talked about the Mothra song, which was awesome. Probably my favorite version of the Mothra song now, because it was like hearing the singing, but it was just music, so it was way better. I also like that we had Mothra twins in it. That part that made me smile. She was at the base with the larva, and then we go back to their spaceship command place, and then not spaceship,
we'll call it spaceship.
The bomber. Anyways, she was there too, and that's the part where I was like, "Wait, huh?" And they're like, "Oh, we're twins. It runs in the family."
Why couldn't it have been one of the twins that got killed instead of his assistant?
Fine. Twins were hotter.
Okay, the twins were hotter, but she should have been stepped on. Instead, one of the twins should have been stepped on.
But the Mothra twins never get hurt in the movies.
Exactly.
Never ever.
Which would have made this movie different. Just saying.
But I don't want that. It's just like the Action Destroyer. I want the Action Destroyer to be like the reset button in these movies. That's what I could have feel like if we need to get Godzilla back to Toho and we can't use him anymore, reset button.
See, the stupid thing is they should have used the Oxygen Destroyer on one of the other lesser monsters and it actually killed him, you know?
Yeah, because then it would have set it up, right?
Yeah.
And be like, oh, wow, this is actually something very devastating. We have a weapon we can use, and it doesn't leave nuclear fallout. But no, we go after Ghidorah or Godzilla with it first. And then it doesn't even harm Ghidorah in the least, and Godzilla just hurts.
Which kind of gives out the way that King Ghidorah is an alien and he's terraforming Earth into their planet, or trying to.
Yeah, it's making Earth into the way it needs to.
Yeah. And then, we should talk about the monsters. There's so many monsters that they did not show.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping there was maybe more teasers of what the monsters were. Because I was trying to, like, when they were showing where monsters were all over the Earth, I was hoping to see, like, random Toho monsters' names maybe spread out through there. I didn't see any. You can let us know in the comment section below.
I did. I paid super attention. It was just numbers.
There was the numbers, and there was, like, Kaiju Kaiju, something.
Yeah.
But we had, like, the woolly mammoth Kaiju. We had the crab spider thing that looks kind of like the monster from The Mist. We had what I'm pretty sure was the Muto Prime from the comic.
No, that is Muto Prime. Because, like, first time it shows it, I was like, wait a minute. That looks like Muto. And then when it shows the second thing, like, the way, like, his body's built with the shoulders and everything.
Yeah,
that
it kind of like the giant arms.
Yeah.
We got to see that. We got to see whatever the thing was rising out of the ground.
The one that looked like alligator.
Yeah, something like that. So there was, like, you got to see some other monsters in it. The other thing that confused, like, I'm not really confused, but just, like, the other part of the movie that kind of made me, like, I twitch a little is when the monsters all bow down to Godzilla at the end. which I get. He became the new alpha. He is now the king of the monsters. But the Muto Primes literally hunt Godzilla to lay their eggs in because they're super radiated. Why would it bow down to them?
We talked about this earlier. When Godzilla turns around, he's going to shove it right up his beehole and lay the eggs in there.
But
he's going to backstab him, just like Rodin will. Rodin will backstab him.
I like how Rodin just is like, oh, you're stronger than me. Let me help you out. Which is fine. Like I said, everybody, like, that's the part where, like, kind of slammed home the show aspect because, okay, so it's like Godzilla vs. Gigan. We're controlling him as per the tapes. Tapes get disrupted. Now all monsters get to do their thing. Which, if they could control monsters, why didn't they just control Godzilla? They had the Orca thing, right?
Yeah. That
one made no sense. Godzilla?
They even said right on beginning that they knew where Godzilla was the whole time because they can track him because they had his signature.
Because he had, he would protect his territory.
Yeah.
So he had like a swimming lane he would take. And then when he went out of it, that's when they knew something was askew.
When they went underwater, I was like, oh, please, let one of the kaijus be Meg.
Then they go to the city of Atlantis or whatever the hell that was. Where they worship Godzilla. Which was like supposed, like... Alright, so explain this to me. So, bottom of the ocean, they go through one of the hollow earth trenches, things that Godzilla used to get around so fast.
That's how he can travel 600 miles in like a second or something like that.
He's under there, right? But there was also civilization that was down there?
My assumption is that city sunk like the Atlantis.
Maybe, like, into the holes, though, and they worshipped Godzilla? Like, that seems...
Well, maybe, I thought about that, and it makes zero sense, but my assumption is that they will just know, that we will know, that was just like Atlantis, the city sunk and went down the hole, and it got stuck somewhere.
Yeah, that was the one part of the movie. I was like, this is kind of neat, but how the hell did this happen? And again, I kind of wish maybe they would have built on that more.
Please, put in, 5, maybe 10 minutes in there of, what happened. But then we don't need Avengers Endgame again, where it's filler of what happened last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, and then they ruin the entire movie by the end of the film. That makes it make no sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it's...
Captain America stays back in time to... Well, sorry, Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah time travel, but that worked for me because whenever they did something, it fudged up everything.
Yeah.
When they came back. So it worked more. Outside of that, I don't know if I got much else to really talk about. Music was cool. Monsters were cool. We kind of got into the plot a bit.
Greatest kill scene in Godzilla history comes from this movie now. I thought it was Muto when Godzilla spit in his mouth. I didn't know how they could kick it up a notch, but they did. Godzilla ate one of King Ghidorah's head and then spat the beam through the King Ghidorah's mouth. That was amazing.
That was pretty cool.
That blew my mind. I didn't know how they could one-up that last Muto kill.
I still think I like the Muto a little more.
God, no. Not even close. Because that was them even kicking it up a notch. Oh my god. When that happened, I was like, yay. That was awesome.
I think my problem is I was spoiled with the Muto one, so that this one isn't quite as exciting, but still cool.
Definitely. Like I said, for me, this movie takes 2014 out a notch for me, and definitely 2019. This is a better movie for me. Because it's everything I hoped for and some.
Yeah, it was pretty much what I was expecting watching the trailers. And I think that's really where my biggest gripe watching this entire movie comes from is after seeing the trailers, I knew what I was getting into, and it delivered on what I was getting into.
See, your problem is you watched the trailers. I didn't watch.
You watched the trailers too, because we did the videos.
I watched maybe 2 trailers total.
We watched 4 that we did videos for.
Those are the only ones I've seen.
Yeah, that's all I've seen.
There was
and I knew what I was getting into, and it was fine.
No, I didn't know that King Ghidorah was going to be an alien.
But I knew what King Ghidorah was. When Ghidorah first shows up, I'm like, this is cool, but it doesn't have the same kind of... It didn't give me the same feelings as when Godzilla first starts doing the atomic breath and it's rising up his tail and stuff. It didn't give me that same kind of goosebumps. Because after being already ruined after the 98 movie, like, we weren't guaranteed that Godzilla was going to beam or how the beam was going. And they don't spoil it in the trailers.
Oh, the Godzilla beam in this one, like, I love when he's fighting. I'm kind of pissed that he missed King Ghidorah first time. But, like, the beam starts at like, the tip of the tail, like, boom. And you get to see it from a human point of view because the tail's right there. And then goes boom, 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 boom. And then it switches to the regular view and it just goes up. I was like, yes, go, 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 go. You missed? How'd you miss?
Yeah. No, like I said, it's cool, but it's like, it doesn't give you the same feeling as when you first saw it in 2014. Because we weren't spoiled with it.
Only thing I'm pissed off about is we did not get to see Rodin's beam. He had nothing.
But in the originals, he didn't have anything in it.
Except his immortality.
Well, it was just like his body was a weapon because it was molten lava, essentially.
His immortality. Which is going to be a whole video by itself, me just complaining. Or not complaining. Telling you guys how Rodin is the #1 monster.
It's pretty much like if they had the ability in the show movies, they had him in this movie. For the most part. A couple of different things, but mostly the same.
Overall, I love the movie. Everything I expected. Even better, even more than I expected, honestly.
Yeah, again, I thought it was really good. I'm trying to think where I would rate it.
9 out of 10 for me, easily. Because my biggest scare in this movie was going that the human aspect was going to be boring. And then in between the fight scenes was going to be boring. But it was entertaining enough for me where it kept my interest up. So the entire movie was itself was full delivery. Like, 9 out of 10, easily.
I think currently I know it's in my top 15.
Top 5
Probably top 10. It's around there. Like, I think my top 5's pretty safe still.
Like, my Avenger rating was
close,
like
though.
4 out of 10. Avengers Endgame was like 4 out of 10. This movie was 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'd say like Endgame is probably like my second favorite, least favorite Avenger movie. Out of just Avengers.
Yeah.
Like, I still really liked the first one, and I liked Infinity War. Well, Endgame was like, I like some of the stuff in it, but some of it also was just like,
It was too much filler. Where in this movie, the filler was actually interesting. Because we didn't see any of this stuff where it like took like 20 years to fill in, you know what I mean? So like when they had like the backstories, it was actually interesting. Because I didn't see it before.
Yeah. Then again, I think it's probably one of the best representations of a Showa Godzilla film. For sure. Like I said, I don't think it doesn't beat like King Kong vs. Godzilla for me, or like Terra Mecha Godzilla. But
#1 for me. And Godzilla's now.
or Monster Zero. After that, then if we're going like Showa wise, it's probably after those. It'd probably be like my 4th favorite Showa. But what did you guys think about it? Let me know in the comment section below. You guys can spoil it. You can ruin it. We already see it. We just talked about it.
This one you can
talk about whatever you freaking feel like. Oh yeah, we gotta pick a winner. Alright, so we did our normal stuff. We picked some names, rolled the dice, and Kaiju Dork is the winner. So make sure to hit us up on our email, which you can find in the About section.
Instagram, Facebook. Just get a hold of us one way.
Yeah, somewhere through there, so we can get your address and get that shipped out to you sooner than later. But,
again, Kaiju Dork, congratulations, bud.
Yep. We'll have your name in the description below. And also thank you guys for everybody that watched the video and also put yourselves into the contest as well. Not sure when the next time we're going to be doing one. Probably not anytime soon.
Yeah, I think I spent enough of my money on this.
Right?
My money, because this came out of my pocket. All of them, Steve. It's your turn to buy one.
But I'm poor. I still gotta get your birthday present.
Yeah, exactly. I see my birthday present right there.
I'm going tomorrow. I'll go look tomorrow.
$60 worth right there.
Actually, it's like $80. They're about $30 a piece. Actually, 90. Yeah, 90 after tax. So yeah. Actually,
thank you guys for watching.
But again, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Patreon, Pinterest. If you guys want to keep up to date with the channel and like to help donate, also have a t-shirt shop down in the description below. And also hit that bell icon. Make sure when we post videos that you guys will be kept up to date with that as well.
A lot of people complain they always miss the live streams because they don't know they're going on. If you click that bell, you'll know when we live stream.
You'll know. Hopefully we'll do another one soon. This next one will probably be a gaming one, though. Maybe a monster, like a horror movie one. Maybe. We'll see. And that was Defeat Those Kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, and come range today. See you guys in the next video.
Bye-bye.